too. All right, so in order for a school to really re-engage a dropout, especially kids who have, for one reason or another, just given up on the traditional educational approach, that school better be prepared to think outside the box. But first things first, you've got to get them in the building. And for that, you better have a hook.
They sent me home with the enrollment form, and I went home to my mom. I was like, this is the best school ever.
Marcellus Lane was a dropout, frustrated with school and ready to give up, until he found a charter school right up his alley that, by the way, let him do this.
Pollution is personal. My brothers can't work no more.
Mainly, we have students who are very creative.
Tony Simmons is the executive director of High School for the Recording Arts in St. Paul, a non-traditional school that uses the spark of music to light the fire of education.
How do we translate that to show them the relevance of English, math, social studies, science, while they're pursuing creative arts?
A hard-to-reach student body requires teachers that aren't just willing, but eager to adapt. Enter Joey Chenyon.
My challenge is to constantly get to know my students and learn what they need to get started, what they're going to be inspired by, what they're interested in, what they're creatively engaged in, and I use all that stuff to help inform how I write my lessons.
Though non-traditional in nature, students still have to meet state requirements, and in order to graduate, they must first be accepted to college. For Tony Simmons, those acceptance letters refute the commonly held misconception about his students.
The kids that we're working with are throwaways. That is not worth the investment. There could be nothing further from the truth.
And he's convinced that the investment now saves Minnesota money later.
You're really turning a young person from being perhaps dependent on government to being a productive member of society.
Upon graduation, many students like Marcellus Lane will leave the safe haven of school and be faced with the tough reality of life outside of those walls, hoping that the time they spend inside of them will pay off in the end.
I feel like once people leave here and the influences leave their head, you know, they start doing other things and they go back to their old path. So this place is safe.